Hi guys, welcome to our last video on this three-part series on self-image. In the first video, I talked about what self-image is, and I said basically that self-image is who we truly think we are, especially at a subconscious level. You know, what kind of abilities you have, who we truly think or believe we are. And I went on to talk about how self-image is formed through a process called conditioning, through repetition. Like if as a kid you continually heard that you are not able, that you're not good enough, then a negative self-image was formed. And of course, vice versa, if you were encouraged, if you had positive energy around you, then a positive self-image is formed. And I went on to say that we always act according to our self-image, and that is why self-image is extremely important. And in the second video, I talked about how we can change our self-image, and I mentioned two points. The first was change your language, change your self-talk. Like if you keep on telling yourself, that's just me, I'm stupid, I can make it, that you should change that kind of language, with positive language, and the language that will encourage you to change your self-image towards the positive side. And I also talked about changing your environment. If you're surrounded by toxic people who always discourage you, people who sort of keep on confirming your old self-image, then you need to change your environment, because like I said, you are the sum of 5 of your closest friends. So people you surround yourself with, they play an extremely huge role. The last point I want to talk about concerning changing our self-image is basically endurance and self-discipline. What do I mean by that? To change anything in our lives is not very easy. I'm not saying it's impossible. It is possible, but it is not easy. It calls for a lot of self-discipline, each and every day taking the right steps. For example, making sure that you surround yourself with the right people, making sure that what you read, what you watch, the kind of messages that bombard you every day, that you sort of filter them out and make sure that you are more concentrating on messages that are going to encourage, that are going to build you up, that are going to help you change your self-image. So self-discipline is very vital. Self-discipline and endurance. And there will be times when you'll be discouraged. There will be times when you might fall back, but don't give up. Just rise up and keep on moving. Learn from that mistake and keep on moving. And that calls for a lot of self-discipline. One of the ways that I do that, for example, is just, the first hour in the morning, I make sure that instead of looking at my phone or my iPad, what I do is I make sure I meditate. Just take time to go back into myself and just meditate. You might say, well, meditation is too complicated for me. Well, I'll encourage you to do it. Just take 5 minutes. You can start with 5 minutes. That's how I started. Started with 5 minutes, and then you can go up to 10 or 15. And the length is not really the issue, but just training your mind every morning. That the first thing you're going to do is just to take time and prepare yourself for the day. Take time and just clear up your mind. To get back to yourself. Because if you look at your phone in the first thing in the morning, you are training your mind to react instead of acting. And you're supposed to be a person who acts. So it's very, very vital, the first thing in the morning, just to spend time and just meditate. Or just read something that's positive. Take a book and just read something that's positive, something that builds you up. Feed your mind with stuff that will build you up, and that calls for self-discipline. Doing that regularly every day, every morning, and especially the first hour in the morning, and shortly before you go to bed. These are the moments where you can really influence your subconscious mind, because your conscious mind at that point is a bit weak. It's not acting like a filter. So self-discipline, making sure that you feed your mind with stuff that will help you change your self-image.